Hey everyone, thanks for coming back and checking out another review. Today I am reviewing the Dr. Meter baby monitor and kind of comparing it to my previous baby monitor, the Infant Optics DXR-8. And I did a review on the Infant Optics. If you want to check that out, I'll put a link up top here so you can check that out. Basically, we've been pretty happy with it. There are some things we wish were better, most notably the signal quality, or the signal reliability, I should say. Basically, we've had issues with it cutting in and out randomly. If our cell phones are close to it, it tends to cut out a lot. And even overnight, we'll have the monitor on a nightstand and it'll just randomly cut in and out for no specific reason. So reliability hasn't been great. And also the video quality, I mean, I think it's at 320p. Anything under 720p in 2020, 2021 really shouldn't even be on the market if you ask me. I mean, you do get better battery life, but it's really low quality video. So the folks over at Dr. Meter saw my review of the Infant Optics and said, hey, we have a baby monitor that we think is better. Will you check it out? I said, sure. I've never heard of you guys. I'm not expecting much, but send it over. I'll give it a try. So full disclosure, this was sent to me. I did not pay for it. However, I'm not getting paid by Dr. Meter. They are not endorsing this in any way. This is my honest review of it. So out of the box, the first thing I noticed was display size. The Dr. Meter monitor comes in at 5 inches, whereas the Infant Optics is only 3.5 inches. Now that's only an 1.5 inch difference, but it makes a world of difference when you're viewing it. The other thing I noticed was just how similar the monitor setup was. You have almost the exact same buttons in the exact same place. It almost looks like they copied each other a little bit here, but it made the transition from the Infant Optics to the Dr. Meter very seamless. Now the camera designs are very different. The Dr. Meter is kind of this oval shape that pops out and can swivel around. It's very modern looking, whereas the Infant Optics is more of a silo that has a pivoting head on it. Now setup is exactly like the Infant Optics in that it is extremely easy because these both run on their own 2.4 gigahertz channel, meaning you don't have to connect it to Wi-Fi or anything like that. You literally just have to plug in the camera, turn on the monitor, they communicate to each other, and you're done. Automatically, and it's seamless. Now after setup, this is where I fell in love with the Dr. Meter monitor. The 5-inch 720p HD screen was night and day difference in clarity over the 3.5-inch 320p display on the Infant Optics. It's kind of like the first time you saw a 4K HDR TV in real life. You kind of hear about it, but you're like, is it really that much better than a 1080p screen? But you don't really know what you're missing until you see it in real life. And it wasn't just the clarity. The extra 1.5 inches of screen real estate on the Dr. Meter made it so much easier to not only see my daughter's full body, but also her surroundings in the crib. Okay, so I don't think anyone would argue that the Dr. Meter monitor has a way better screen and display than the Infant Optics, but let's talk about the other features. So both of these have their own secure 2.4 gigahertz channel, like I said. So there's no connecting to Wi-Fi, there's no hacking into that channel. You should be good to go. They both have night vision. They both have two-way talk, they both have a thermometer, and you can add additional cameras to the monitor, and they both have sound-activated LED bars, but you get a few additional features on the Dr. Meter over the Infant Optics, and that is a sound alarm. So an alarm will sound on the monitor if the sound is louder than a certain decibel level in the room. A temperature alarm, which again is kind of the same thing, where if the temperature goes higher or lower than a certain degree, then alarm will sound on the monitor. You have a feeding reminder where the monitor will notify you if it's time to feed, and that is mostly for breastfeeding. And then you have lullabies that you can choose from. There's 6 different lullabies that can play over speaker in the camera. So if you don't have a sound machine, this can kind of serve as a sound machine. Okay, so on the surface, the specs of the Dr. Meter monitor seem like they're way better than the Infant Optics. But, you know, when it comes to everyday use, that's kind of where you find the kinks and the quirks of a monitor like I did with the Infant Optics. So I wanted to try this for a couple weeks so I can accurately compare how it handles everyday use compared to the Infant Optics. And overall, I have to say I'm very impressed with the performance of the Dr. Meter monitor. One of the biggest differences we noticed was the signal seems to be much stronger than the Infant Optics. We haven't experienced any cutouts in connection. We don't have to worry about our phones being too close. I can go to all areas of my yard and still have a strong connection. So in terms of signal reliability, I have to say that this seems like it has a much stronger signal than the Infant Optics. Another smaller thing I noticed is that the microphone on the Dr. Meter camera might be a little bit better because it seems to pick up more of the sounds that you're looking for, like, your baby crying. Whereas the Infant Optics, all I could really hear was the sound machine. The Dr. Meter one, I can barely hear the sound machine, but when my baby cries, I can hear her loud and clear. So it seems like it's a little bit more tuned in, or it's able to filter out ambient noise a little bit better and focus on the things that you're really wanting to hear. Now, there are a few trade-offs when you switch from the Infant Optics to the Dr. Meter monitor. The first is battery life. Obviously, when you switch to a higher resolution, larger display, you're not going to get quite the battery life as the Infant Optics, but that's not to say that battery life is bad. In fact, I've been pretty impressed with the battery life. I'm able to get through a full nap with my daughter, leaving it unplugged with the display on. And that normally is 2 to 3 hours, and I still have a bar left, so I can probably say you can get 3 to 4 hours with the display on, volume up. Now, if you turn off the display and just listen to the sound, you can probably get closer to 5 to 6 hours. Now, obviously that'll work for a nap, but when you go to bed, you're going to want to have a charging cord, next to you so that you can plug it in. And the nice thing about this is that this does charge via micro USB, which is very universal. A lot of people have those cords at home, or they can buy them cheap off Amazon. You don't have to find a proprietary charging adapter, which is very nice. So kind of going back to what I said in the beginning, when the Dr. Meter team reached out to me and first asked me to review their baby monitor, I really wasn't expecting much because I'd never heard of them before. And when I looked them up, they don't necessarily specialize in baby stuff. So I really wasn't expecting much, but I have to say I was really blown away in the quality and how much I liked the Dr. Meter over the award-winning Infant Optics. And not only do I think that this is just apples to apples, a better monitor than the Infant Optics monitor. I mean, it has a higher resolution display, it has a bigger display, it has a better, more reliable connection in my opinion. But when I looked up how much this costs, it's $60 cheaper on Amazon than the Infant Optics monitor. So in my opinion, you're getting a better monitor for $60 cheaper. I mean, to me, that's an unbelievable deal. So my advice is, if you're looking for your very first baby monitor, first, congratulations, and second, save yourself some money and get a more reliable and higher resolution display like the Dr. Meter monitor. I think you're really going to love it. And if you already have the Infant Optics and you're kind of looking for something else, do what we did and give the Infant Optics to your parents or someone that watches your kid and get a higher resolution display with a more reliable connection. I think you're really going to like the difference. So if you are interested in the Dr. Meter baby monitor, I will put a link in the description below, so check it out there. And other than that, guys, I really hope that this helps you make a buying decision. Thank you for liking, subscribing, and commenting, and I will see you guys on the next video.